so now that we've looked at the sum and the difference pattern, let's look at the squaring binomial pattern, okay? Now, remember, you can memorize these, but you can always derive them if you can't memorize them, okay? So here is what we'll start with, right? I'll start with the a plus b squared pattern, right? That's what we're going to be dealing with in part A, all right? And that, remember, is going to be the same thing as a plus b times a plus b, okay? And if we FOIL that, what we end up with is a times a is a squared. We then get outside times outside will be plus ba, or ab, doesn't matter because of the commutative property. The inside will get plus ba, or plus ab, whichever one you want to write. And then last times last we'll get plus b squared, right? And if we simplify this, we just end up with now a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, right? So that last part right here is actually going to be our pattern when we square this binomial, okay? Now remember, we'll look at, what's our a term, originally from the binomial, and what's our b term, and we'll kind of plug it into our little formula there. We should be good to go. Okay, so our a term here is going to be 3n. Okay, so when I write a squared, I'm just going to write parentheses, and I'm going to write 3n squared. Okay, the next part is plus 2ab. So we've done this part. Maybe I'll underline this part in red. So we have the plus 2ab part, right? So I'm going to write plus 2 times a, which our a term again is 3n, times our b term here, which is 4. Okay, and at this point, we're then going to say plus b squared, right? Our b squared term here, or our b term is 4, so we're going to say plus 4 squared. Okay, and when we simplify 3n squared, remember that's 3 squared n squared, so it's going to be 9n squared. Then we'll get plus 2n, or 2 times 3n times 4. Right, well, you can do this in a lot of ways. I know 2 times 3n is 6n, and 6n times 4 is going to be 24n, so 24n. And then finally, we get 4 squared, we know, is 16, so plus 16. All right, and this is actually going to be our final answer. All right, now you can always just check this with FOIL, do FOIL over again and make sure that you're actually correct. All right, but it's really a pretty simple process, okay? Now let's look at our squaring this binomial, a minus b squared. Okay, so remember, this is going to be a minus b times a minus b, which if we FOIL, we'll get first times first will give us a squared, outsides will give us minus ab, insides again will give us minus ab, and last times last will give us plus b squared. So if we simplify, we now have a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. All right, so this is now the pattern that we are going to follow. Okay, and so our a term, remember, I'll just kind of underline in green here, so that's 2x. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 2x and square it. After that, I'm going to look at my minus 2ab part here, so I'll go ahead and write minus 2 times our a term, which was 2x, times our b term here, which is positive 7y. Okay, and then we'll finally look at our plus b squared portion. So I'm going to write plus 7y squared. Okay, and now we're just going to go ahead and simplify each one of these parts. So I know that 2x squared is the same as 2x, or 2 squared x squared. So that's going to be 4x squared. I know that I have negative 2 times 2x times 7y all in a row there. So that's going to give me a negative for sure. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. So I have 28 x times y. I just put xy. Okay, and then my last term here, I have 7 squared y squared. That's going to give me 49 y squared. Okay, now remember, we can check both of these with FOIL. All right, but that's something you can do to check your answer if you're not sure that you have the pattern right or that you may have made a mistake. Okay. Okay. Now, let's check out two more examples. I might go through these a little bit more quickly. Okay. Maybe at this point, I think I kind of remember these. So I know that a plus b squared is going to be equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And that a minus b, or the quantity of a minus b squared, equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? And so I'm going to look at each of these in a unique way again. My a term here, I'm going to take 7a, square it. Okay? I'm going to say now plus 2ab, so plus 2 times my a term, which is 7a, times my b term here, which is positive 2. And then my plus b squared portion here, so plus 2 squared. Okay? Now when I simplify everything, 7 squared a squared, that will give me 49a squared. I then get 2 times 7 times 2 is going to give me, let's see, 14 times 2 is 28, so plus 28a. And then finally, my 2 squared is just going to give me a 4, so plus 4, and that again is my final answer. Okay? So hopefully at this point this stuff's getting a little bit easier, but let's just look at one final example here. Okay? So again, my 2p is my a term here, so I'm going to write 2p squared. Okay, my b term here, or my negative 2ab part, is going to be minus 2 times 2p times 5q. And my final b term here is just that 5q, so it's going to be plus b squared, or plus 5q squared. Okay, and now my final answer here will be 4p squared. Let's see, I have my negative 2 times 2, which is 4 times 5, which is negative 20pq. And my final term here is going to be plus 25q squared. Okay? And that is, some special product patterns that we experience when we square a binomial.